What is up, Reef Builders? I am Jake, and I have so much to tell you about. I don't even know where to start. I'm a little bit overwhelmed at everything that's happening and everything that's gonna happen here the next 30 days or so, but in the best way possible. So I want to give you guys a progress report. And we're gonna end by revisiting that first Nano in the Reef Builder studio because it needs a little cleanup. It's looking really, really good, but I figured I'd share you guys along on the first little piece of maintenance. So, as you can see, there was a lot more stuff in the studio now. Tanks, crates, some barrels, some water vats back there, sorry. So we're just gonna walk around the studio. I'm gonna show you everything, but I am gonna start with an easy part. My tree. But this is gonna be a really cool tank. Fish for that coming next week. Okay, so my plants. Got a little fern. These things are low light plants. Got a little fern here, some kind of big chunky vine. There's surprisingly a lot of light in here. So here is my fiddle leaf fig. This thing is so beautiful. It's got these giant leaves and super duper pretty. The Dracaena. This thing is looking almost better than when I picked it up. It seems to have grown a lot, even though it's only been a few weeks. My Norfolk Island pine, this guy tells me right away when he's a little bit too dry. And the coffee tree, man. I got a coffee plant. You've heard of shade-grown coffee, right? So there's just nothing but ambient light up in here. And so I got my coffee tree, but probably most relevant to everyone are the mangroves. Okay, so I picked up 3 pods at Macna. It's really dry in here right now, you guys, so I don't know if these guys are gonna make it. This one's a little bit droopy on one of the branches and the other one looks okay, but right now it's like really dry, so until I get a lot of tanks in here and get that evaporation happening, the humidity is just gonna be like super low. I mean, it's Denver, high desert environment, so that's my trees. Let's talk about the first frag tank. I've shown this to you guys quite a bit, but it's running, it's flowing. I'm happy with how it's set up. It's pretty much just a pump, a heater, and a protein skimmer, and nothing else. And I just need lights. But before I can do lights, I'm gonna need some kind of creative, custom light mounting solution up here. Right now I'm using this 48-inch Nemo light just to kind of cover the end here. I know that's blown out. Let me fix that real quick. So yeah, just got a few token corals for now. I'm very slowly moving stuff over from my house. Here's one of my first nice used corals. And you'll have to forgive me, these frag tanks have really terrible walls. You know, once there's a lot of light, we'll be able to get a lot more top downs. But this is a big used, the Blue Ridge coral. Blue Ridge coral, oh my God, that's such a great first used coral to get. And then yesterday I moved over one of my pets, one of my great little pets. Here is my ball tentacle anemone. So these guys are non-photosynthetic and they like to eat food. So right now it's, you know, kind of daytime, kind of bright. So he's not all about it. But what I told you I was gonna do with the hybrid closed loop is working out super duper well. Man, I'm really thrilled with it, especially how the pump is in there and how it's all set up. I still need to, let's see, put like a little spray bar in there to distribute the flow. I need to put a couple strainers on a T right there, probably putting an elbow pointing down and a couple ball valves so I can get control. But for now, the concept is working out and I'm very happy with it. So I need to do the light rack, put some lights up, and the other thing is, oh God, this is the part I'm really not looking forward to. I got my pickle barrels, and I need to build a stand to put these vats basically up in the air so that they can feed my mechanical float valves. And I have one on each tank. They came like that. How very convenient. So when I get those up in the air, they're gonna have enough pressure to automatically evaporate the tanks. Automatically make up for evaporation on the tanks. And then we're gonna get some stability in here. And oh man, if you thought the hybrid closed loop was cool, because I think it's still really freaking cool. I can't wait to do it again for those 2 pumps. What should I call it? Again, it's one of those weird things. I'm thinking of something really tricky and clever for the top off vats. And that's gonna be a video of its own, so we'll revisit that. Okay, so yes, here we go. We've got a couple more tanks in progress. I know what I'm doing with that tank, so I know what I'm gonna do with the others. Tonight, I was just kind of like test fitting them, like arranging them, because it's gonna be like a small system. So we've got the 100 EXT there, the 75 EXT, which I've tentatively outfitted with the HM Electronics Cetus 2 LEDs. And then we have one of my classic tanks. I'm gonna tell you this entire story about this in the future. That is going to be a Ketamorpha display. You heard that right. It's not gonna be a Ketamorpha filter, it's gonna be a Ketamorpha display. And then this is actually my oldest aquarium. I bought this aquarium when I was 14, and it's not talking to me in this space. It doesn't really fit, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with that right now. But I am gonna put this giant sump kind of back behind there, and there's still some space between the tanks so I can get up in there, work on the filter, skimmer, whatever. Still got this beast right here. And I think tomorrow, if we get enough people to help out, there's gonna be a beast with a capital B sitting right there. It's a 350-gallon flatback flatback hexagon acrylic tank. It's gonna be a really big tank, kind of unwieldy to work on for corals. So that's gonna be a dedicated fish tank. So hopefully that's gonna take up that space right there. I got my water vats, y'all. Very excited about my water vats. These are 210 gallons. They're 31 inches in diameter, but like 6 feet tall. So I'm gonna be able to finally put them in that section right over there that I told you about before where the other water vat is. And again, it's that carpentry thing, man. I'm not a wood builder. Like I know the concepts, but I just don't have the tools or the experience to do it right. So that is like something I'm super procrastinating, making the stands for the pickle barrels that you can see right there, and the stands for the vats. But when I get those built and elevated to create some water pressure, man, that is gonna be like kind of a milestone, because once I get these when I get these made, I can mix some seawater, because right now I ain't got no salt. I got all these tanks and I'm still working on them. So hopefully nothing here needs a water change for a while. So this right here is just loaded with biomedia. I've got Brightwell cubes, Brightwell plate. I got a Brightwell brick somewhere else, but I have been dosing this with ammonia like super hard and hitting it with a Prodibio just to kind of seed it. And yeah, there's even some stuff like down in the filter you can see there. So basically I'm cycling this without fish so that when I do get some fish in the fish system, those should be ready to go. And I promise we're gonna actually do some aquarium stuff at the end of this video. The second part of this rack right here is another 10-gallon tank, and I'm culturing Ketamorpha. Basically just trying to grow out my keto. I'm dosing with ammonia just a little bit. You see I got a long ways to go. So I'm starting with basically a small inoculation of Ketamorpha and just trying to grow it out for the future Ketamorpha display. Okay, so moving right along. This is what I call my receiving tank. I'm not sure if this is gonna be the permanent location for it, but I like it because it's broad and shallow and it comes up to my elbow, so I can just kind of work from the top down very, very well. And I just set up the primes, haven't programmed them. I think I programmed one, but not the other. I have not synchronized them. But basically, this is where all new corals, even from my house, everything's gonna go in here first. Well, it's gonna come over here to the sink and I'm gonna clean it as best I can, take off any hitchhikers, snails, worms, you guys know the drill by now. And then it's gonna go in here for observation. So I can keep looking and seeing if there's any pieces of funk that I missed. And they'll get cleansed again and again and again, manually and dipped, until they're ready to go somewhere else. So that's gonna be a super important tank. But you can see there's actually no filter on there. I mean, there's like a mechanical filter, but it's really, again, not even a protein skimmer. It's a pump, it's a heater, and I just put on the lights. So this tank will actually, I will periodically take it down. I just totally take it down, clean it, rinse it, let it dry off so nothing can grow there. Because this is where all the new corals are gonna go first before they go anywhere else. And I got a couple of really cool statues from Derek Hopkins of Reefcast. Make sure to follow him on Instagram and just really having a good time. Like, I'm not really growing corals on the statues yet. And here we've got my boy Groot, got Bulbasaur, got Groot. And Groot's looking over a little patch of zoanthids with a Montipora capricornus sombrero. And that's the second nice big used coral that I got from Evan. So actually, about half that coral is from Evan in the previous vlog. And really good stuff, man. He had some Montipora vericosa, some classic orange cap. What else? And that big green polyp leather, man. Give that thing a month or two once I can get it in that main coral system. It's gonna be so lit. It's gonna be so huge. It's gonna be so freaking pretty. Oh my God, my OCD is kicking in. I'm really trying to keep everything super clean, but since I'm testing and I'm checking and I'm going back and forth, doing different things, I can't clean up as I go, and it's driving me bonkers right now. But so yes, excuse the mess. And I've actually purposefully not done anything to this tank yet. A couple more things, and then we're gonna clean that nano tank together. So you may have wondered about these ginormous crates I got today. Oh my goodness, look at all that. What could possibly be inside? The funny part is that some of you have seen these exact tanks before. A lot of you have seen these with your own eyes, but there is no way, there's no possible way that you can guess what's inside unless you got that real eagle eye vision. I think we might be able to unbox those tomorrow because I'm gonna need some serious help. There's some serious tanks here. And then completely non-reef related, something I've been researching since before I even got the studio. It's a really nice sound system. If you've enjoyed the videos, the music, editing has something to do with it. I love listening to music and just rocking out like a fool when I'm working on my reef tanks and just turning it generously loud, to say the least. So this is going to be pretty much my project all day, right here. And yeah, it's gonna get loud in here and it's gonna be great. Because right now I'm using that silly little Sony loudspeaker thing, and it's too bassy. The sound is not really great. It's like real loud on one side of the room, but not the rest. So I can't wait to not use that anymore. But there's some serious hardware that I paid for in my pocket. This is not, that did not come out of Reef Builder's budget. That did not come out of the studio budget. I purchased that myself because I just wanted it. I just wanted it. I have so many other things to pay for. So let's revisit the nano tank, clean it up, and see how it's looking at about the 3-week mark. Here is the simple JBJ 8-gallon flat panel aquarium, completely stuck. Not a piece of live rock in there. There's not a piece of filter in there. All I have is that one Brightwell BioCube that I brought over from my old tank and the same light. I have been a bad reefer. I haven't put a timer on it, so far I've been mostly manual, and I still have the janky ghetto plastic covering. I don't have any materials yet to make that better. This fish is way too small. He would definitely jump through egg crate. The 3 main types of filtration: mechanical, chemical, and biological. Biological is definitely the most important one, so you don't have, those toxins in the water. So we already have some biological in here. And although I put a BioCube in there that's been in my reef tanks for freaking ever, I didn't take that for granted, and I have a working ammo alert there. You can see it's at 0, and it said 0 from the beginning. So even though I put a piece of biomedia in there, I didn't take that for granted. So biological is good, but now the tank is getting a little bit scuzzy. And this is normally a time to do a water change. But what I like to do, especially for nano aquariums, is in between water changes, use a little bit of chemical filtration, a little carbon, a little organic absorption resin, and the tank will respond exactly like a water change. And so, I got one of these little Chemi Pure Blue Nano. And so I'm gonna be super lazy, and I'm gonna put this above the biological and below the mechanical. And for mechanical, just gonna stick a little sponge in here. So we're not gonna do a water change, but it's gonna look really, really good. And the corals are already blooming, they're already blossoming. Like, the corals look totally awesome and fine. But the tank will be a little bit more sparkly. Like I said, I've been saving the cleanup of this tank for this video, so you could have some aquariology happening and not just a status update. So let's get going. been a few hours since I, basically all I did was scrub the glass, put a sponge filter in there, put some chemical media in there. And it's still a little bit early for that chemical media to really be doing its thing, but definitely I'm going to, probably in like 2 or 3 weeks, do a water change and like really clean it up and hopefully give this tank a few upgrades. It's a little bit comical to be managing all these huge tanks throughout the studio and pitching a lot of huge tanks coming in here very soon, and I'm like messing around with this little token 8-gallon tank. But you know, you gotta start somewhere, and it's nice to have some life and some activity here in the Reef Builder studio. There's so much coming. If you've been keeping track of the channel, you know that there's a lot of stuff happening. So one last thing, make sure to follow me on Instagram, because I realize I just can't make a video about everything I want to share with you. So in between videos, you can definitely keep track of the progress here on our Instagram channel. So make sure to check that out, subscribe, comment. I can interact there as well as here. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this little cleanup of the Nano tank and the status update in the Reef Builder studio. I'm going to be moving some huge tanks tomorrow. So man, in just a matter of like a week or two, we're going to really have some fuel for this fire. I cannot wait. It's a little bit overwhelming, but we're gonna get to a point where kind of hit a stride and get on cruise control. So it is beer time. I'm gonna go visit my brewery neighbor, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode.